Coffee time with Officer Fox. Ronald, Donald, and Sunshine.
Good morning. Today I'm going to tell a couple stories about the Slack family that reside down in the Central District. Anyway, we used to deal with them quite a bit. They were a large family and they've been in the Central District for a long time. And there were two twin brothers, Ronald and Donald. And we used to arrest them on a constant basis for a lot of things. Selling and using drugs, robbery, assaults, and they were also well known in the Central District. But my first introduction to him was when I was brand new. There was a little stop and rob, AM/PM, that was just down the street from them. It was actually a gas station when I first started, an independent gas station. But Ronald and Donald were, like I said, twins. They were both well-built, very strong individuals, and their idea of a crime was they would go down to the independent gas station, smack the clerk in the mouth, and then take the cash register and run home with it. They lived about a block and a half away. The only problem with that was, like I said, they were well known in the neighborhood and they'd known the gas station owner since they were little kids and everybody knew who they were. So we would get the call and we would try to catch them before they made it home. And then if they made it home, we'd have to go in and search for them and arrest them. And anyway, the gas station owner had learned, and so he bolted his cash register to the countertop. Well, that didn't stop the two Slack brothers. They would go in there and they were absolute monsters, and they would rip the cash register out of the counter and run home with it. So those are the two Slack brothers, and one started with an R and the other one started with a D. And the R brother, Ronald, his other brother would put an R on his arm in ink pen because then they were the same. So it was kind of difficult because they're identical twins, and one would have a warrant and the other one wouldn't. But they did make it a little easier on us because lots of times one would already be in jail and he'd stop this one and he'd say, "Oh, that's not me, that's my brother." And we go, "Now your brother's in jail for his warrants. Now you're going for your warrants." But anyway, so it was a large family, and then they had a brother who was also a sister, and used to dress up and was into prostitution. And the problem with Sunshine was he would go up and work the Broadway area, and he would pick up businessmen and UW college students, and you would perform an act on them. And then when they found out that he was a man dressed as a woman, the fight would be on. The only problem was he was a Slack, and he beat the shit out of these Johns. And then, of course, they would call the police, and we would show up, and they would say, "Oh, this person robbed us." And we'd ask Sunshine what happened, and Sunshine would be like, "They picked me up, I gave them a blowjob, they grabbed my junk, and then they hit me. And so I beat the shit out of them," which is pretty much the way it went. So anyway, we were used to dealing with Sunshine. And anyway, we served a warrant on the Slack house one day, and we had a brand new officer. I'm not going to say his name because he says he listens to the podcast to make sure they don't tell stories about him. But anyway, I was on the anti-crime team and we were serving warrants, and he was a new officer, and super good guy, super eager. He wanted to get into the ACT team, so he always volunteered to come out and do containment and assist with the searches. So anyway, we have Sunshine was in there on the warrants, and Sunshine was dressed up as a girl, and he would fill up his bra with condoms filled with water. So anyway, we had the new officer search Sunshine. So anyway, the new officer, I mean, he knew it was a male, And so he's searching Sunshine, but apparently he could feel the condom in the bra, and so he was questioning Sunshine about it, and he squeezed too hard and broke the condom. And, and Sunshine lost his mind and came unglued, and this new officer turned the brightest, pinkest shade of red I'd ever seen, and was absolutely mortified of what had happened. And it was like, oh, we laughed, and I still know him. Still know him today. In fact, his birthday party and his retirement party is coming up, so I'm going to see him here in a month or so. But anyway, that's my stories on the Slack family.